Hey guys, it's Fatma. I hope you're all well and staying safe during this very difficult time. To lift your spirits somewhat, I'm here with a story time. What prompted this story time was I was going through my camera roll. My phone has been annoying me recently. No space, clear up this phone. So I was there trying to delete some pictures, not succeeding. And I came across this picture here. Aww. This picture right here carries so much memories. It holds the memories of what I went through to obtain a driving license. Trying to get a license in the UK, some may say it's mythical. Some flop 8 times and just give up. I don't blame them. So I thought to get a real feel, to get the real emotions, to think back on memories, I must film in my car. Welcome to my car. It's a 2015 Kia Venga. I always get questions. What car do you drive? I drive a 2015 Kia Venga. This is gonna be a story time on how I failed my driving test miserably, but I bounced back like AJ, and a couple weeks later, I passed my driving test, and here is how. So, my driving journey began August the 15th, 2009. That is the day I booked my theory test and I passed first time. In the UK, to obtain your driving license is split into 2 parts. Theory test and then the practical driving test. Theory test contains of a multiple choice section and a hazard perception interactive computer section. I booked my driving theory test June because I knew that June, July I was getting ready for my graduation. It was hectic, it was crazy. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to fit a test in that month. I booked it in for August, which I recommend. Book your driving test a month. I need to stop this. What the hell? I'm moving like one flight attendant. Book your driving test a month in advance. Trust me, you know, exams, when they tell you your test is going to be on this day, is a lot easier than saying, oh, I'm going to book my tests next week. Only to find out next week, driving tests all booked up, full up, gone. The test that you wanted, that you had in mind, disappeared, gone into thin air. So I booked it in advance and I thought, okay, I have time to revise for that whole month. That flopped because in reality, I only revised a week before my test, and I used this app called, I think I'm gonna leave it on the screen here. It's recommended by DVLA. I believe they made it or they approve it. This app is a 4-in-1. It shows you hazard perception, the highway code, the theory test, and I can't remember, it was something else as well, and I can't even remember for the life of me. It was a flipping lifesaver. The questions that they show you on there is very similar to the questions in the test. Honestly, I would say about 4 questions were different when I sat the actual test. Most of it was literally questions from the app, and it's only a £5. This app is only a £5, and it is going to be your best friend. Passed my theory test with flying colours, which I thought wasn't going to happen, not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna maybe buckle along the road, just because of the fact that not the brightest kid in the dunya, you know? Past that, then I told myself, Fatma, you have until December to pass your driving test. So off I went onto the big wide web to look for a driving school. Now, I typed in my area in LDN where I live, and I was like, driving schools near me, put my location on. This one driving school, it was top rated, everyone was recommending it, everyone was gassing up. This driving school is the best in this area. So I thought, okay, all right, everyone's gassing up. It must be the best driving school ever if this many people are gassing it up. It got like 200 Google reviews, so I'm thinking, raw, they're the best. I thought, but we'll get into that. I rang them up. Hello, my name's Fatma and I'm looking for a driving instructor. The man that, you know, he happened to be the owner, he was like, all right, they have female and male instructors. So I was like, can I get a woman driving instructor? Because I am a Muslimic. If I was in a car with a man that I don't know in very close proximity, wallahi billahi, that's gonna be awkward. A couple hours later, a random number rings my phone. I pick it up and it's my soon-to-be driving instructor. This woman calls me up, introduces herself. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be your new driving instructor. Where do you live? I dropped the Addy and I could hear her gulp. I'm so glad the car is not on, because I would have tooted and hooted and scared the people here. She gulps when she heard my address. And she goes, I can't pick you up, Fatma. You have to come to me. Huh? I have to come to you? Now wait a damn minute. That's not how driving instructors work. That should have been a big red flag for me. My father's calling me 1 second, guys. A big driving instructor refusing to pick up a student and drop off a student. Miskeen! That's what I am. My name is Fatma Miskeen Sharif. Miskeen with a capital M. I was like, okay, I thought nothing of it. You know, maybe just a little busy. She'll allow me as we progress during the driving lesson, she might pick me up. So, first driving lesson ever in my life. I never ever sat in the driver's seat before. She texts me this very spooky area first and foremost. It was a very scary area in LDN and she's scared of my area. I beg your pardon. Me and my dad arrive at the location that she tells us to come to. We're looking around for a car that has, you know, the L plates on. We're looking around and guess what I see to the left of me? I see a bright red L's plastered everywhere around the car. The back, the front, the side, the top. And it was a Corsa 3-door. Vroom, 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 vroom. I was driving an L. All the Corsa memes flew into my head. Great. A Corsa just drove by. How jokes? A red Corsa drove by. Oh, my best friends are on their way. I'm good. I can park it. Let's just see them take a picture of my car. The man stared at me. Scan my reg number. I can park here, rude boy. I walk up to her and I knock on the window. Open the up. She gets up from the driver's seat and she goes and sits on the passenger and she's like, get in the driver's seat. I beg your pardon, get in what driver's seat? I can't even drive. So she's dashed me into the driver's seat. Drive where? You wanna crash? You wanna crash? You're dead car in it. What do you mean drive? I've never ever been in a driver's seat. Guys, you know how some people, before they even start driving, they have a little bit of experience here and there? I had none at all. I can't drive my dad's car. He's got a 7-seater and I'm not licensed to drive it. I should have just cut from when she told me. I literally told her, guys, I have no driving experience. Where do you want me to drive? Everyone knows common sense. A learner driver with absolutely no driving experience can he just set off? I can't drive just like that. You're meant to take me to like quiet residential road, or you're meant to take me to an empty car park where, you know, I can just drive here and there in empty bays. This woman takes me to a train station. Pedestrians everywhere. You want someone to get killed today? You are the devil. I'm extremely heavy-footed, and it wasn't until I started, you know, learning to drive a car that I learned to control how heavy my foot is. If that makes any sense. I slam the gas pedal. Since she's a qualified driving instructor, she has dual controls. All learner cars are equipped with that. She slams the brake from her section. She's like, what are you doing, Fatma? Get out. I told y'all I can't drive. So she finally lets me go on this quiet road. Bear in mind, if you take your foot off the brake on an automatic car, it rolls by itself. I wasn't even putting any gas on the car and it was just rolling by itself because I was so flipping scared. This woman's shouting at me. She's shouting at me, guys. She's proper like, Fatma! It's not even Fatma. She completely threw away the T and replaced it with a D. Fatma! Kept telling her my name ain't Fatma. Who's that? I'm looking around. Who's Fatma? Proper having a go. Just because I can't steer to the right. You never taught me how to steer to the right. I'm crossing my arms just because I don't know how to drive. Fatma, don't cross your arms. Well, tell me how to flipping steer and I wouldn't. I'm doing this. The pull and push technique, horrible technique that needs to be dashed in the bin. Proper yelling, hollering. One thing I can't stand, right, in this dunya is disrespect. People shouting at me. Do not disrespect me. You don't know me like that and I don't know you like that. When she's shouting at me, I blank out. She's shouting at me like she gave birth to me on October the 1st, 97. Like she is my mother. If you're not my mum, my dad or my granny, don't shout at me. You have no right. Fast forward to our second and last, thank the Lord, driving lesson. She decides that I am a good driver. Bear in mind, all I can do is drive straight. Can't even turn, can't even brake gently. But she thinks I'm alright. I'm good to go on the main road. Very busy main road. So she takes me around this main road that's around my area. That's the first time she actually drove around my area. Beforehand, she checked to see if the doors were locked and everything. She takes me on this main road and she tells me to turn right. I'm approaching this right turn. I'm doing 8 miles per hour in a 30 zone. Cars are lined behind me, honking, screaming, shouting at me, cussing at me. I was a learner then, so I was a bit scared and I let it go. Try to cross me now and see what happens. There's no L plates, there's no P plates on this car, so cars are overtaking me, and as they're overtaking me, they're cussing me. I'm sweating buckets. If you were to squeeze my hijab, water would just flow out. That's how much I was sweating. I am slowing down. I was already slow. I was already going 8 miles per hour, but I thought, let me just... Cars like this, I think I was in a yellow box. I was in the yellow box. Hope she got a ticket. car was tilted. There's oncoming traffic. I'm waiting for the cars to stop. I'm looking into this road that I'm about to turn into. There was just no way. No way, no way. One thing I hate about driving in the UK is how narrow the roads are, and there's always parked vehicles on both sides of the narrow road. I'm about to turn into this very narrow road. Parked cars on both sides of the street, and right in the middle of the road, there is a big old bully van. That's slang for big police van. There was just no way. No way, no way that I was going to get through that. I'm a learner. There's no space for me to turn right. The police van could see that. So he or she, whoever was behind the wheel, was nice enough to reverse back. I'm there doing this silly pull push technique. I'm sweating buckets. I'm thinking to myself, how the hell do I turn? This woman is to the left of me shouting, oh my gosh, Fatma. Not even Fatma, Fadma. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. How can you do this? She's closing her eyes. Her hands were on her eyes, guys. A big driving instructor. Take your hands off of your eyes. Eyes on the road. You're a driving instructor. She's shouting at me, and then she's trying to motivate me like, Fatma, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Do what? On an automatic transmission, there's a P, there's an R, there's an N, and there's a D. She must have thought that there was an F on there. F for fly. For me to drop it down to F, and the vehicle will just start flying over the bully van. My heart is doing Usain Bolt. I have cars lined up behind me, beeping. Why are you, as a qualified driver, beeping at a learner? You were once in that position. You know how it feels to get your driving license. It's hard work. When I see a learner that's taking mad long, I don't beep at them. If it's safe to do so, I overtake them. I never beep at them. They're learners. They're going to get there in the end. They are learners. So I get on with my route, and the lesson has finally come to an end. I'm getting a headache just speaking about this. So she takes out her diary trying to book some more lessons with me. That is not going to happen. After the lesson that I just had, I tell her, I can't do any more driving lessons with you because you can't pick me up and drop me off. Really and truly, I wanted to get rid of her bad mind energy. I made up the excuse that it's because she can't pick me up and drop me off. She thought it was a valid reason, so she was like, okay, bring the driving school and let them know of your situation. Honestly, sometimes I feel like if she wasn't a fellow Muslimic, the boxing gloves would have come out. I would have had to come out of retirement and beat the brakes. No pun intended, beat the brakes out of her. Because honestly, guys, the sugar honey iced tea that I dealt with, I don't think anyone could do that. I'm trying to learn a life skill, and here to the left of me, someone is cussing me out. A bad mind, meek, spewing hate at me. I couldn't. The boxing gloves couldn't have come out because the driving lesson was located by the police station, and I would have left the lesson in handcuffs. I love my life. I don't want to spend it behind bars. I go to the bus stop and I ring the driving school. I tell him, hey, I'm looking for a new driving instructor. So the person taking my call goes, okay, I'll ring you in a bit. That in a bit turned into 2 weeks. By then, I already had a driving instructor. So that's the end of the driving instructor from hell. So I got home, I tell my friends about the instructor from hell, and they were like, hey Fatma, we've got some recommendations for you. Most of my friends who are Somali had a Somali driving instructor, which I thought, okay, my people, we can mingle, we can kiki, we can have fun and learn to drive a car. That's what I thought. So my friends are sending me these numbers. I begin dialing some numbers. They picked up, they asked, you know, the obvious questions. Have you passed your theory? How much experience have you got? Where do you live? I dropped my Addy, the address of my residence, and one hung up the phone. He hung up the phone on me. One lied and said, oh, I don't cover your area, but my friend who lives 5 minutes away did lessons with you. And then one, she said, why don't you come to this area and we can start lessons? No. I'm getting very tiresome. All these driving instructors are like, we can't come out. Just say with your chest, I'm scared of your ends. That's it. That is it. No. Oh, can you meet me here? No. So what I did was I went back on the internet, the second best rated driving school in my area. I rang them, and that's when my life changed. I don't know why they're second best. They should be first. They should overthrow number one. No caller ID. This is scary. They assigned me a male instructor. I wasn't too fussed because I am a retired fighter. These hands, they work. So if you did try anything, it's night-night. So the person taking my call sent over an email of the pickup and drop-off location, the instructor's full government name, and the make of this man's car, which was a Mini Cooper, which is actually, fun fact, one of my dream cars. So the fact that I was able to learn in one of my dream cars, matting, I found that extremely professional, because with the first driving school, I had to find out who my driving instructor was. I was in my dad's car doing up undercover police. I am outside my window, head out of the window, trying to find a Mini Cooper. I am there, twisting my head. On this very day, there was about 7 Mini Coopers that drove by my house. Scary. He finally pulls up. I'm like, what's your name? And he goes, da 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 da. Matched up with the name in the email, so I got in the car. He drives me off to this residential road. I booked an hour lesson with him, and during that 1 hour lesson, he basically showed me around his car, which is what a driving instructor should be doing when you first meet. He told me everything, every feature about his car, what everything does. So he finally, you know, let me drive. He was a bit about it, but then when I told him I've got 3 hours worth of driving lessons, he was like, okay, let's see what your driving is like. Was not impressed at all. Said there's a lot of work to be done, and a lot of work was done throughout 4 months. Bless his cotton socks, this man, he was a great man, and I actually wish him all the best. What a driving instructor should be like. The patience this man had, I had 3 brain cells. Graduating in uni took 2, so I learned to drive with basically 1 brain cell, and he was a very patient and kind man. He knew he was dealing with a learner that had 1 brain cell that wasn't even there most of the time. This man taught me to become the best driver ever. I am the best driver in LDM. I can't believe I am relying on a Holy Friday. Oh my god, please forgive me, God. Guys, I'm not even gonna front. I had so many driving lessons, so many hours, I can't even come up with a figure. So mid-November, I told my driving instructor, hey, I think I'm ready to do my driving test. He goes, yes you are, Fatma. He too dashed the T away and replaced it with a D. You are more than ready. Go for it, you're gonna smash it. So I booked my test for December the 11th. A week before December the 11th, I had a intensive driving course where I saw this man every single day leading up to my test, 4 hours a day. During that week, we were frenemies. There were days where we were mates, and there were days where we were enemies. I couldn't stand it. There were a couple times, not gonna lie, road rage came out of me. I just wanted to jump out of the vehicle. There was a time where he told me to parallel park. I had an audience of builders watching me. The back of his wheel was on the curb, it scraped. I was like, you know what, I can't do this. Took it out a reverse point in drive, twisted the wheel, and off I was. He was like, Fatma, what was that? I told him, I can't do it. I can't park. I was under pressure. My driving test is very soon. I'm sweating buckets. 2 maneuvers that just weren't hitting it were reverse bay park and parallel parking. I can parallel park, takes me a hot minute, but I can do it. Reverse bay park, let's not chat about it. As we're doing the driving intensive course, I hear it. The car's mashed up. The car broke down. Literally, guys, days before my tests, the car that I am going to take the test in breaks down. There was no car. My driving instructor goes, Fatma, do not worry. My friend has the same car. We're going to practice in his car for a bit and then do the test in his car if my car is not fixed in time. So my driving instructor pulls up in this car. It was a Mini Cooper. It was a creamy color. Wasn't too fond of the color, not gonna lie, but beggars can't be losers. Is that the saying? I don't know.
Let me.
Beggars can't be losers.
One thing that kept bugging me was it was a 2018 car, so to park the car you had to press a button, which boggled my mind. I was used to pushing a button and putting it in park. Now I had to literally just press a button. What the entire nation. The day has finally arrived. It is the day of my driving test. So we pull up to the driving test center. He's giving me motivational talk. He's prepping me for it. He's like, I'm gonna stay in the car just because he was parked on the driveway. It has to be in the car, otherwise the car's towed. It's gone. He's in the car and I go up to the driving test center. I walk in, there's a waiting room and everyone is sitting with their driving instructor. I'm there sitting on my ones. Everyone's looking at me like, damn, you ain't seen someone sitting by themselves? What are you looking at? What are you staring at? So I'm there, I'm waiting. It felt like an eternity. Everyone's getting their name called. I'm like, golly, when is my name going to be called? Finally, I want to say about 10 minutes after I arrive, my name is called and it's this white old woman. She goes, you know when you know someone's going to mispronounce your name? She goes, A foreign name was about to be called and it was going to be mine. So she's there squinting her eyes and I'm like, I know it's going to be me. She calls my name. Surprisingly, she says it well. It was a surname that she struggled with. Fatma Sharif. So she goes, Fatma Sharif. That's me. I stand up, give her my provisional card. She's looking at it. She's looking to see if the face are matching. She looks at me and she's like, all right, if you can sign this. She handed me an iPad. I sign it. So she's like, let's go down to the car. I don't know if this is only for the UK, but before you even sit in the driver's seat, you gotta do a night test. I think it's from 20 meters away. She's like, Fatma, can you read that number plate over there? During my driving lessons, randomly here and there as I'm driving, he'll be like, Fatma, read that number plate, read that number plate, read that number plate. I was eating carrots before my driving test. I wasn't even scared about the driving test. I was scared about reading the number plate. I was able to read the number plate correctly. She's like, all right, Fatma. We're walking towards the car now. My driving instructor has to bounce out because I requested that he does not come in the car. I feel like it will be immense pressure to have a driving examiner and my driving instructor in the back in the same car. The car's gonna be heavy, man. Allow it. No, get out. She's like, Fatma, go in the car. I'm just gonna walk around the car and do some car checks. Obviously, if the car is mash up, the driving examiner is not getting in the vehicle. Get it fixed, then book your test. So she's looking around the car. She's like, perfect. She asks me a tell me question, and it was, how would you know if your indicators are working? Put your flipping hazard lights on and walk around the vehicle, innit? And she's like, for this test, we are going to be following sat nav. In my head, I was like, yes! Because following road signs is difficult. That means you're driving and you're looking ahead for the road hard. I was so thankful for the fact that I done my test following a sat nav. Everything's going well till the sat nav told me to turn left. I turned left and my back wheel was on the curb. I drove over a curb and that's when I thought to myself, Fatma, game over. I ran over a curb and when she told me to pull up to the left, I also went on the curb. She keeps hearing some ding 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 sounds. She looks up, she sees a dash cam. I also have a dash cam on this car as well. Dash cam is for the safety of your vehicle. Someone wants to try to crash your car, dash cam evidence. She's flustered. She's trying to turn off this dash cam. She's asking me if I can turn a dash cam off. Listen, mate, this is the second time that I'm in this car. I don't know nothing about this vehicle.
Yeah. It's only my third day out here. I don't know.
When you're telling me to turn off the dash cam, I can't help you there. So she's frantically trying to turn off this dash cam. And I tell her the beep, beep, beep sound is the car. That car is super, super alert, super sensitive. The sensors are on the front and the back and the sides of this car. This is where everything went left. I'm driving past this dual carriageway. I'm doing 40. I'm speeding, Speedy Gonzalez. I can see that there's a roundabout ahead. The sat nav tells me take the first exit on the roundabout. So I'm like, all right, doing my mirror checks and whatnot. In a driving test, you gotta make sure that you are an award-winning actor. Mirror checks, stretch, even look into the back, indicate, look again, position to the left, look again. So I was doing all of this, indicated left, and I went straight ahead on the roundabout. The woman right here shouted at me. She's like, Fatma! Again, I'm telling you guys, when someone shouts at me, you've lost me. I'm not hearing a word. She's looking at the exit as I'm driving to go straight ahead. And she's like, Fatma, you missed the exit. Don't you know you're left and right? You should have went left. Don't talk to me like that. You're an examiner. You know what's mad about all of this? The sat nav said, when you turn left, you have reached your destination. That means test would have been done. So the sat nav rerouted us back to the test center. I didn't even have a glimpse of hope. I knew I flopped and I was okay with it because I done a serious. She's marking something on her board and she's like, unfortunately, Fatma, you were unsuccessful today. Bear in mind, guys, I'm there. I am grinning teeth. I was not in the slightest bit of way phased. That was until I went home. I was like, okay. And she was like, is it your first time? I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, I behave, don't be rude. So she's telling me, you know, I failed. She's writing up what I failed on. I already knew I was going to fail. From time, the route that I had to go on had about 15 roundabouts. Alas, game over. I knew I was gonna flop. It's okay, it's okay. So she's like, you failed. She was like, I'm gonna, you know, skedaddle now. So she went. I hopped back into the passenger seat and I texted my driving instructor, hey, I'm by this place. He looks somewhat disappointed because he can't see a certificate in my hand. Asked me what I failed on and I was like, to be honest with you, Chief, I went the wrong way on the roundabout. I indicated left and I went straight ahead and he was like, what was their cars? Because If there wasn't cars, it wouldn't have been as serious. But because a car was waiting for me to turn in but saw me go straight ahead, because of that stinking damn car, I failed. Well, it was my fault. But if the car wasn't there, I would have passed. I failed for going the wrong way on the roundabout. My driving instructor, he was disappointed. And, you know, I think he was trying to kill me because he was trying to drop me off as fast as he could. Only people who have failed their driving test know how I feel. The drive back after you failed your driving test, awkward. I should have pulled out some Adele. I was looking out the window like I was in a music video. I was sad. It was only when he was driving me home that it clicked. I really woke up at 5:30 a.m. The test was £62, an extra 100 something for the hire of the car. That day was just horrible. I told my family, I texted my family, I dropped it in the group chat. Fatma failed her driving test. I flopped it. I was disappointed. My driving instructor's like, book a driving test again because Fatma, you are ready and you're not gonna quit. Not gonna lie, at the back of my head I was like, it was only when I went home I was kind of sad. I told my driving instructor, you know what, I think this is gonna be the last time you see me in a couple months. And he was moving mad motivational. He was like, wow, why are you gonna start now? Really and truly, I think he just wanted to get rid of me ASAP. ASAP diddle. Why are you doing that? You gotta push. Because I know you can do this. Mad. Well, sigh. I mean, I went back on the DVLA site and the next test was the 27th of January. And my driving instructor's like, don't worry, I got connects. He had connects. This man knows people. And before I knew it, my driving test was the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. So I book another intensive driving course a week before the 24th. We pull up to the driving test center. Again, he's moving mad emotional. He's like, you can do this. And I posted this picture on Instagram. I captioned it, I think it was, literally, that's how I was feeling. Walking up to the test center. I'm thinking to myself, am I gonna flop? Am I not? At this point, it's like, get over and done with. I was done with the whole driving thing. I'm waiting at the test center again in my bright pink hoodie. The room wasn't full, which wasn't a surprise because it was Christmas Eve. I'm a Muslimic, I don't celebrate Xmas, innit? So I was there up and early in that room. So I'm waiting. A black brother opens the door and says, Fatima Sharif? I was like, I was happy at the fact that I got a brother as an examiner, but I was shaking. I was fuming at the fact he called me Fatima. I thought if I correct him, he'll think this girl got attitude and he might fail me because, you know, it's iffy with driving examiners, you know. You do one little thing and you piss them off. Your license is in their hands. So I was like, let me not risk it. For these 30-40 minutes, my name's Fatima. So he's like, hey Fatima, how are you? I'm like, hey, alright, what's up? Sign the iPad, round 2, let's go, I'm ready, I know. We go down to the car and he's like, before you get into the car, I need to take an eye test. So I'm like, alright, read that number plate. I read it again. This time I was a bit more confident. By the way, completely missed out. The car came back. The original Mini Cooper came back. I was a bit confident because the cars that I learned how to drive in for these past few months, right, came back from the garage. So he's trying to make convo with me to try, you know, break down my nerves. He was like, so where did you come from? Where did you come from? I'm like, nah, I live, and he was like, no, for real, I live there too. So he's a black brother from ends. But I didn't get too gassed. You know why? Because examiners, is like they get paid extra to be your friend. Mama, don't let this man gas you. He might be a brother from ends, but don't get too gassed. Because we're quite far from the car, I might as well ask you the tell me question now. He's like, so how would you know the tire pressure of the car? So I tell him the answer, innit? Can't remember, not gonna lie. Answer was correct and he's like, haha, what are you, part-time mechanic? And I was like, laughing hard. Try to get some brownie points. I don't know. I was being a beg. We get into the car. He's like, so we're gonna follow the sat nav. I'm like, cool, yes, sat nav again. Put my seatbelt on, he puts his on, let's go. And bear in mind, right, the test center where I'm from, if you ever turn right, halas, game over. That's the hardest route. Great. So my confidence shattered. I touched the floor, touched the ground. I was like, great. I went on the hardest route. I actually went on the hardest route. But for some reason, because it was Christmas Eve, it wasn't too busy. Eyes on the blood. Eyes on the bloody road. I was about to swear. He's telling me about his life, how he's a revert, mashallah, brother. So, turns out this guy is a black Muslim brother from ends. We have so much in common, honestly. He's like, so, what do you do? I was like, I graduated uni. He's like, oh, rah, is it, mashallah, and them things there. And before you know it, it's maneuver time. I'd like you to do a parallel park. Light work, parallel park, I got this in the bag. down the parallel park. Before we knew it, I was very, very close to the test center. But then he's like, take a left.
Boy, if you don't get...
So I take the left, and then he pulls me up to this residential road. He's like, Fatma, we're gonna do the emergency stop. Emergency what?
Huh?
When I tell you to stop, you stop. So I'm driving down this residential road. Stop! I slammed the brakes. Like my life depended on it, because it does. Emergency stop means you gotta save someone's life. My belongings, my driving instructor's belongings in the back fell forward. Me and him, our seatbelts went. After you slam the brakes, put it in park, handbrake up. And he's like, that was a good emergency stop. When you're ready, drive off. And this is where they catch you out, guys. You heard it from me first. After you perform your emergency stop, look at all the blind spots. Usually what catches people out is that they think, oh, I'm not pulled to the side, or I'm not moving off. I don't need to do the blind spots checks, but you do. Even in the back, the mirrors, everything. You don't need to indicate because you're not going into a road. You're already in the middle of the road. All you gotta do is check your blind spots and drive off. So we pulled up to the test center. So he's on his iPad doing something. He's like, I'm pleased to tell you that you passed the driving test. When he told me that, I held onto the steering wheel and I screamed. His right ear must have been blocked. He was like, you definitely showed out. You did your thing. You're a good driver. Look at God. My driving instructor was Muslim. My driving examiner was Muslim. I am a Muslimic myself. One Ummah, the Muslimics, we all come together. I passed my driving test. Despite the fact that I had the hardest route and an emergency stop, I still passed. It was a very hard journey. As he's writing my name, I had to give him my provisional card. When you pass your driving test, you gotta hand over your provisional card. They have it. I think they destroy it. So I gave him my provisional card. It was then he realized, hold on, your name's Fatima, not Fatima. And I was like, yeah, he apologized for that. It's all right, chief. And as he's writing up my certificate, my driving instructor comes by and he's like, oh my gosh, it's you. What's up? What's up? They know each other. Turns out this driving examiner was a supply he was covering for his co-workers because it's Christmas Eve. He's Muslim, he doesn't celebrate it. He's not even a permanent examiner of that branch. He came through. I feel a sense of relief now. I finally got this out of the way. That's how I flopped my driving test. I went the wrong way on a roundabout. And my driving experience thus far, is that the same? I don't know why I'm trying to be Shakespeare. The purpose of this video is to tell you guys that failure to fail is okay. It's part of life. It's okay to fail. It's okay to land flat on your face. Whether you want to fail and swallow the L by yourself and not tell anyone, it's okay, it's okay. I just told my family and literally one friend. You know who you was, Z? That was cringe. That was it. I was like, I'm gonna swallow this L by myself. I only told them after I passed on the 24th. I joke around with my friends and my driving instructor that it was a Christmas miracle. I passed on Christmas Eve. To the driving examiner, he is a legend. What a lad. I saw him like 2 months ago as of driving. It's because of his signature. I am on the road driving. You know what they say about drivers that fail? They have more experience on the road. You have the confidence on the road. What's really important after you pass your driving test is the confidence. You need that confidence to get on the road, because driving in London, drivers will bully you. Bully you for real. As you guys have seen in my drive with me's, driving in London, very, very mythical. Impossible. It's now raining. That's how long I've been here. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. Drill that in your head, please. Sadly, it is time to wrap this story time up. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time and maybe kikied a little, because I haven't shown my mug on YouTube for quite some time. I'm going to be trying my absolute hardest to upload every Fridays with Fatma. Comment any video ideas that you have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, it's time for me to head back home. It's raining. I don't park outside my house. I'm smart like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you are new. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!